HTTV in association with Absolute Warehouse Services. Andy, thank you for joining us. I can imagine this has been an unusual start for you, but first of all, how are you and your family? Are you all okay in this difficult situation?
Yeah, absolutely. And firstly, thank you for the warm welcome. Yeah, we're all fine. A few challenges with homeschooling, but I think everyone's suffering from that. And
Absolutely.
so, yeah, the summer holiday break.
Why was this role right for you at Huddersfield Town?
I think that the role is it's just such a unique club. It's so embedded within the local town. The fan base is just exceptional when you look at the fan support that the team get, and the challenge also based on the current environment. I think gives us also some real opportunity rather than looking at it negatively. I think there's opportunity here for Huddersfield.
We'll talk about the current situation a little bit later on, but first of all, talk to us about your background, what you've done commercially, because you've done a lot.
I have. I mean, I started out in retail many years ago, working for sort of big retailers like Woolworths and Toys R Us, and sort of running buying offices and traveling the world sourcing products, which was great fun as a young man, but it gets quite tiring spending 6 months of the year abroad. So I did that for a stint and thoroughly enjoyed it. And then the opportunity came to work in sport. And I was approached about a role at Twickenham Stadium for England Rugby way back in 2006. And I started there and kind of helped them become more professional and run that organisation properly, and stayed for a number of years. And there was always a reason to stay. There was always something exciting happening there, whether that was the stadium rebuild, whether that was hosting a World Cup in 2015. So I stayed there for nearly 11 years and thoroughly enjoyed my time there. Post that, I went over to the round ball and did some project work for the FA at Wembley Stadium in their commercial team, working with their commercial team there, just to look at how they operated and kind of reshape part of that function. And then I found myself continuing in the sporting theme, working on Soccer Aid for UNICEF, the charity football game, which is filmed and live on ITV every year and raises multi-millions of pounds for UNICEF, the global children's charity. And then this role appeared on my radar, and as I say, I'm absolutely delighted to have been successful and to be appointed into the role, and I'm really looking forward to meeting the extended teams and getting stuck in.
Like you've just said, you've had so many experiences in different countries, in England, in all sorts of different roles and aspects of commercial. How will all of that help and combine into this role at Huddersfield Town?
Well, I think it helps because you have a broad understanding of the commercial marketplace, and obviously that is changing considerably at the moment, and we'll talk about that, I'm sure, as we go through this. But I think having that real broad understanding of sport and partnerships and how to operate within that stadium environment will certainly help me in delivering for the club, certainly in the short term and medium term.
Yeah, like you said, let's talk about the current situation, COVID-19. Starting a new job in this environment, in the job that is commercial director, doesn't really get much harder, does it?
Well, I think there's two ways of looking at this, and I think you can either look at it and say, it's really hard, it's terrible, what are we going to do? Or you can actually look at it from the point of view of actually where's the opportunity, and without saying it's going to be easy, because it's not. There are many companies out there who have suddenly seen their business grow considerably due to COVID-19. So there are companies out there who are still being successful. There are companies who are perhaps struggling, but they're partners of Huddersfield, so as a partnership we'll be supporting them and they'll support us. So it's about building those relationships and also understanding the market and where those opportunities are. And as I said, it's not easy, but we certainly do our very best for the club.
Because obviously, like football clubs throughout this country and abroad will all be in the same situation, where obviously when fans can't come into stadiums, revenue is depleted. The commercial aspect of football brings a lot of money into the football club. In this situation, is that where you have to look at new opportunities and new partnerships to bring revenue back into the club?
Yeah, definitely. And it's kind of finding the right partners who are the right fit for the club as well. And I think, we'd very much be looking at, long-term partnerships that are mutually beneficial, and give everyone a return and match our ambitions as well and our values. I think that's really important that, we're aligned with any partner that we join up with and partner with. So, yeah, look, it's not going to be easy, but I'm certainly up for the challenge, and I know the team are as well.
Because I can imagine you have to be quite innovative in a situation like this, think around the challenges.
You absolutely do. And I think, there's a really good base here in terms of the commercial department. There's some really good people with a lot of good ideas. And it's now, moulding those ideas and understanding what will work. And, let's be really straight. No one knows what this is going to look like in 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. So what we have to do is be adaptable, and yet we can plan. But we've got to assure that we're agile and we can adapt to any situation that we're faced with.
And like you alluded to, obviously Huddersfield Town already does a lot of good work with businesses that are local, national, and some that are international already. Mm-hmm. How long does it take to get a full understanding of the club, what it does in the local area, nationally, internationally, to then put your plans in place?
Sure. Well, look, I'm day 9. So I've been trying to be like a sponge and just try and absorb everything. And there's a huge amount to, catch up with and understand because, this is a fairly big organisation, with numerous stakeholders. So it's kind of trying to understand the base on where we are, which, is going to take me, probably till the end of next week just to get my head around everything. But having said that, in the background, we're already out there talking to brands, and talking to people who may be able to present us with opportunities for Huddersfield for next season and beyond. And
I can imagine you're meeting your team as well, like we're speaking over video call as well, which brings its challenges.
Yeah, it definitely does. I would dearly love to, have face-to-face time with them. But of course, the situation we're faced in means that, we're in a new world. But, I think what this has taught us is that people can adapt very quickly, and people can learn to work through the medium of how we're working now, whether it be on Zoom or Teams or however. And very quickly, the world's changed. And certainly my experience is a lot more business is now being done remotely. And that's been reflected in the last 3 months. And I think the challenge is to build that relationship without that face-to-face. So, you've got to build that trust. And, ultimately, that's how we're going to work in the foreseeable. So we have to make that work for us. But yeah, it's been an interesting first couple of weeks. Meeting people virtually. I've been fortunate enough to be able to meet most of the board face-to-face, which has been great. Obviously, at a social distance. Meeting the team through this, I think has been great so far, and I hope to see them all soon.
Absolutely, and alongside obviously the commercial aspects, there's a focus on next season as well. No one really knows what that's going to look like at this point in time, but thinking to next season, a shirt sponsor has got to be a top priority of yours right now.
Yeah, that's number one priority. For me at the moment is to find that front of shirt sponsor and to ensure we've secured that for the start of next season, whenever that happens, hopefully sooner rather than later. But yeah, absolutely. Number one priority is that currently, and that will be taking up quite a lot of my time over the next month, I would imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure it will. Like you said, you've been in the role 9 days now. What have you been doing during this period? Meeting people, just getting to grips with everything?
I've been doing a lot of this. My day has been spent staring at a computer screen, and getting to meet people, getting to understand the business, looking into the numbers, looking at where the opportunities are, looking through our partnership structure, seeing who our current partners are, where we may have gaps, in terms of opportunities there, and trying to fill those. So it's been full on 100 miles an hour from the start, but it's great fun so far.
And just finally, obviously, you've had this 9-day period to, like you say, look at things. What are your thoughts on how Huddersfield Town runs commercially at the minute? And is there anything immediately that you think you'd like to change?
I think it's too soon to talk about change. I think it's for me now, it's just understanding exactly where they are, and I think they're in a decent position. But that's not to say, that there isn't further opportunity. And I think, fresh eyes can bring, some opportunity there and some new ideas, and also encourage the wider team to, really push the boundaries on those new ideas. Because as we said earlier, with COVID, we're going to have to think, smart, and we're going to have to be agile. And so we're going to have to be front of the queue, because we're not the only ones out there looking for commercial partnerships.
Absolutely. Andy, thank you very much for speaking to us, and good luck at Huddersfield Town.
Absolute pleasure. Thanks very much.